So, Zhoniin,
Hey,
I just brought you in here. We just did a couple of collabs over in your channel, and now I think it's time to unwind, chill, and just kind of gauge the room, you know? Whenever I do collabs, I always like to just have a conversation, not scripted at all. We're just kind of hanging out, two guys. So, how do you feel about Elbaf so far? I feel like it's been a while since we had that conversation. I think the last time we just kind of really shot the shit, so how do you feel about everything that's happening right now? Portrayals, characters, all that good stuff. Theories, even.
I think Elbaf is starting off strong, to be honest. I mean, the first couple chapters or whatever, it always kind of starts that way, with
Yeah.
the road stuff. Kind of was throwing me off, but now it's getting really interesting. Like, usually, I mean, how many chapters are we even into it? 20 at this
I
point,
think
something like
20,
that?
something like that.
Usually, it doesn't start getting cooking yet, right? It takes a little bit for these arcs to get cooking, but man, it's cooking. It's making me like think like, wait, is this not going to be a long arc? I do think it's going to be long, but man, it is really cooking now. We got the Holy Knights. They came, made things really interesting, but now Loki is freed. I did not expect this to happen so soon. I was totally just ready to accept that he was going to be freed in like 30 chapters from now or something, or
Yeah.
towards the end of the arc, but he's free now and he's swinging Ragnir. Man, I'm excited. I
Loving
think
the pacing, huh?
Loki, I'm liking the pacing. I'm not saying it has to move fast. I don't need it to move fast, but I like that it's moving at a good pace where things are staying really interesting and the stakes are, raising progressively. Like, Loki is probably my new favorite character. Not like overall in the entire series, but like as of right now, he's definitely like my favorite character in the series.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
just so cool, so interesting, breath of fresh air.
Dude, I just looked at it right now. We've only been in Elbaf for 15 chapters. We met Loki,
15.
yes, and we met Loki 10 chapters ago. Within 10 chapters, we met Loki, and he's now freed. The pacing is pretty insane. And Elbaf, I mean, I can't tell if it's like at its halfway point or if we're just getting started, but it feels like we're just getting started, right? Because there's still so much in Elbaf here that we have to tackle. Like, we still need the Sun God lore, Robin, seeing the mural, right? Because she read the text, but she didn't see the mural. We don't even know what the hell the Heaven Realm is about. Like, okay, Heaven Realm, what do you think
True.
that is? Like, nobody's mentioned it ever since the beginning of the arc. What do you think is up there? Like, maybe like a High Council? People are saying Celestial Dragons live up there. I don't think that's the case anymore now that we have the God Knights here. But like, well, what do you think is in the Heaven Realm? Maybe like King Harold's grave, perhaps? That'd be kind of interesting.
Hmm. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
like a
honest. I
gravesite.
never thought about it.
Yeah, it's
I
it's also
I
strange.
mean, yeah. It's got to have some kind of significance to it, right? Since we haven't explored that place yet. We've been to the underworld. We've been to the what's the middle part,
The
whatever that
Sun
is,
Realm.
Sun Realm, and then the Heavenly Realm. Of course, your mind goes to celestial dragons, but that can't be the case. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's even possible there's nothing going up there, going on up there. I mean, but like you raised the question of like maybe King Harold's grave, but it's like, is there like a higher echelon to the Giants? Do they have like a ruling
Like a class system.
rulers? Do they have elders or
Ah, that's a hard one because like what we heard when we got the description of Loki and Hardin's backstory is that Hardin's mom was not accepted to live in Elbaf or to live in the castle. Who told Harold that he couldn't bring Hardin's mom here, right? So it was a little bit odd. So maybe there is like a high council of Elbaf that just made that rule, and maybe they do live in the Heaven Realm, which I'm not too sure what that would even look like.
so the place where Loki killed Harold, where they go to with Road, that's in like the Sun Realm, right?
Yeah, that's still in the Sun Realm because it's like
So
nearby the party.
is that place that they went to, was that like where King Harold like was on his throne?
Yes, because we saw the throne room. That's where we met Scopper. He was sitting in King Harold's chair.
Yeah, so you'd think that that would be in the heaven realm, but it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Like if the king isn't in the heaven realm, I don't know what the hell's up there. I think it could just be people are saying Valhalla, right? Where like
Yeah.
angels are, the Valkyrie, like where people go when they die. Like we kind of saw something similar to this back in Skypiea, where loosely similar, but the Skypians or Shandorans, they believed in ancestral spirit trees. How like, oh, you die, but your soul gets trapped in this tree, and it's a good thing. So maybe it's like something like that, where like you die and they believe that you go to the heaven realm and there's like something up there. Maybe like a tombstone or a tree itself, or well, I mean it is the Adam tree, but like another tree on top of it, maybe mini trees.
Yeah, I mean, because Oda is very, or it seems to be sticking to the Norse mythology, as much as he can,
Yeah,
with Elbaf. So that very likely is possible. It's just interesting that he hasn't brought it up more.
yeah, and Oda likes putting his twist on it. Like Ragnir, right? That's supposed to be like the One Piece equivalent of Mjolnir. Which I gotta ask, like, what was your reaction when you saw that Ragnir was a thing? Like, did it instantly click?
Yeah.
You were like, like lightning hammer, here we go.
Yeah, for sure. Mjolnir, I'm on board with it. Loki is kind of like a fusion of Loki and Thor. Like, because, Hyrule definitely ain't Thor. So
Sad to
I'm
say.
on board with it. But just being a One Piece YouTuber, I can't like fully just enjoy it. I need to know how it works, because that was the main thing that was coming to my mind. I was like, oh, that's cool that he's using Ragnir and it has lightning abilities, but how does it work? What is causing
Yeah.
this?
So where are you with the Ragnir then? Do you think it's like a devil fruit? Do you think it's like a living hammer, a special hammer? Because like, it's not Anel's devil fruit because he's still alive, unless he like died off screen and then his fruit respawned. They gave it to a hammer. I don't think that's possible because I mean Loki probably had Ragnir for longer than 6 years. I know we saw him 2 years ago, so it's definitely not Anel's devil fruit. Another Zoan devil fruit being inside the hammer, I think could be possible because we saw like Funkfried, we saw Shamrock Cerberus, so that could be a thing. But it would also make you wonder like why didn't we see the hammer talk or anything yet? Because that's a little bit odd. Or it could just be like made out of something special here on Elbaf, but even then, it's like, how does it produce lightning? What are we doing?
Exactly. So here's an interesting little thing.
Yeah.
Back in the mural that we always go to, the mural on the Adam tree,
Yes.
when you look to the right side of it, you see like that flying ship thing,
Yeah.
and it's like firing lightning down, and it's hitting the tree.
Yeah.
So it's not like how Uranus is implied to work with the 16 holy bullets or the multiple lasers. It also doesn't resemble the way that I assumed Uranus was going to look like if we go off of what Enel saw on the moon. It seems like Uranus is more circular and has like those little
It's like a UFO.
round things on it, and it has like the mother flame inside of it or whatever. What we see on the mural is different. It's like a flying ship.
Yeah.
Is that some kind of satellite or something? And Ragnir is activating that when he swings it, because another thing is like, of course, our minds go to it being a devil fruit, but it's coming from the sky. It's not coming from Ragnir, the lightning, like how a devil fruit normally would work.
No, that's so insane. I never thought about that.
Because I'm just saying, because like there has to be an explanation for it, given how the power systems in One Piece work. It's not just like, oh, I have the abilities to summon lightning from the sky. It's either you have a hockey based ability or you have a devil fruit ability. There's no like lightning people, or there's no like you just have magic. You have to be some kind of special race or something like that. So there's only a few options for as to how Ragnir works. And if it's not a devil fruit, and if it's not hockey, then it might be technologically based.
That is actually a really good point. I never even thought about that. See, like my mindset just went to like, oh, special hammer, it brings down lightning from above. And that could be the case. I don't think that could be wrong yet. But I like where you're at, where it's like maybe it's a satellite. Because we do know technology played a role in One Piece. We know that the Void Sentry was even more advanced than Vegapunk, which is insane to think about, right? So, like, maybe you're right. Like, maybe there is, like, a genuine satellite in the sky that realizes... It sounds insane when I say it like this, but, like, it realizes when Ragnar is striking something and it shoots down laser from above. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that would be a pretty proper explanation in a way, but it would just like beg the question of like, why does Loki have this hammer then? Like, this should be like a Void Century relic at that point, right?
I mean, it very likely could be.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we can't discount like there being technology in the sky. I mean, Enel found a whole ass civilization that was fueled by his electricity, and yeah, spaceships. There's space pirates as well, all canon. There are literal space alien pirates in the world of One Piece. You know, I forgot what they're called, like automatons that live on the moon. It's like, okay, like maybe there is a satellite. I mean, we have a bunch of flying ships already. No, I like the satellite theory, man. I think that's the first time I've heard of that.
Yeah, because it's just that in that mural, it's firing lightning.
Yeah, I just
Like,
thought that was
is
Arc Maxim.
coming from that.
I thought that was just the Arc Maxim and Enel. Like a
there
Void
was like
Century
a
or
old
current
version
day.
of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought. But I mean, that's like I said, it's not like destroying any other theories, but I think this is a solid candidate for like what's happening with Ragnar.
And
I
I'm
think it's
saying
nice.
it is hitting the tree.
Yeah,
in
and
the
it is
mural
hitting the
too.
tree. So it's like repeating. I mean, if you believe that the mural is like the first world or second world, yeah, it's repeating history. Yeah. Huh. Okay, now I gotta ask. So as far as Loki goes, what do you think he's gonna do now? Like, now that he's threatening the group to destroy Elbaf, he still is chained up. He's in front of Luffy, Zoro, the monster trio, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, and Hard and his half brother. What is Loki's future plotline? Like what do you want to see from him? How do you think he's gonna get out of this? I would love to hear your idea on that.
I think Loki is destined to become like a good guy. I think he already is like a good guy. He's just like emotional. Like, the whole world's against me, so screw everyone. I think it's implied that he hears the horn going off, right? Because when they hear the horn, they know that the tree caught on fire and there was lightning. So it's kind of happening at the same time. So I think Loki does want to help with that horn. He's like, I'm the only one who can save Elbaf, free me. I think that's what he was getting at, right? When he said that.
Yes, I'm assuming so. Like, it's rough because Loki says, "Hey, like if you want to save Elbaf, release me right now." And it's like, oh, like, it makes you think that, oh, he wants to save Elbaf too, and then he actually hits the tree and he's about to destroy Elbaf. So it's like, okay, like maybe that's what he meant. Like, you save Elbaf from myself, or we could imply that he wants to save the kids and defeat the God Knights, which I think both can be true.
Yeah, because I'm going to throw another crazy theory out there. I feel like you probably have similar thoughts, but I think that back when Loki killed Harold, there's probably like a good reason why he did. It's not just like, hey, dad, and then kills him.
Yeah.
It's possible that Harold was trying to sell Elbaf to the world government. And that maybe there was even other people there. Because, we talked about this before, the claw marks that you see on the wall.
Yeah.
Thought, oh, maybe that could be Loki's devil fruit, but maybe it's like a holy knight or something, or just, something like that were there, that Harold was conspiring with to like give Elbaf over to the world government. And Loki was like, no. Another reason why I think Harold was probably not a great guy is because he removes his ancient giant horns. He said it reminds him of the wartime. But we know that the ancient giants were the good guys. They lined themselves with Joy Boy, right? We see them fighting against Emu in the mural. So if you're going against the ancient giants, then that probably means you're not good. Um,
Yeah, it could
so
be
that
that. It could also
yeah.
just be like a PR stunt too, right? Like, hey guys, I'm such a good guy. Let me tear off my horns, which insane, but it's One Piece, right? It's an anime, so it's not that crazy. We've seen that before. That could also just be it. Like, hey, like I want to prove my. Maybe that's how he showed his loyalty to the God Knights, even right? Because him and Shamrock apparently had a decent relationship, right?
All
Because
that Shamrock did.
so we had Sommers who was like, hey Shamrock, what are you doing in Elbaf? What are we doing here? Did you visit King Harold's grave? And it's like, like you only visit
Oh,
the grave of people
nice.
you typically like, right? So it's like, yeah, like I think Shamrock and King Harold had a thing going on back in the day, maybe like a partnership. And yeah, I agree. I don't think King Harold's a good guy. I feel like there's definitely gonna be more to the story, and I think it could justify why Loki killed him as well.
Yeah, because also, like, why did he leave Jarl alive?
Yeah, Jarl's a weird. I mean, should Jarl even be alive though? In your opinion, like he's like legitimately stabbed through the head. I thought it was like a gag, or like oh the sword is contorting around his helmet, like somebody bashed him with it. But no, like the sword is genuinely piercing through his brain. Like is that not insane? Like I know I've been saying One Piece magic, anime magic, but like isn't that like taking it like past the boundary almost?
It is for
I
sure.
don't think we've ever seen that.
I mean, in real life, I've seen, whatever, something on the internet or just where like people have been stabbed in the head and they're like, they're living and then they go on to live. Um, but yeah, this is a little extreme. Yes, it's definitely anime magic. Um, but it's like, I just don't know why Loki would keep Jarl alive, but I don't really remember what Jarl specifically says regarding Loki because he's not like for Loki. He's
But
not
he
like
doesn't seem like
defending Loki.
super against it either. Because like what wasn't Jarl the one who kind of I wouldn't say justify, but he tried to put a reason behind like why Loki is the way he is. Like oh he just wants to be the sun god. I think
True.
Jarl was that guy if I recall correctly. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm so torn. And then now we're getting to the point where people are thinking Jarl's a bad guy, right? Like, oh, Jarl is flubbing Loki's facts, or like he's hiding information about what happened that day, which I think could be true. But at the same time, it's like he has a sword wound through the head. Like the guy's actually lobotomized. Like if I had
Or
a
that.
sword through my head, I don't even think I'd remember what I had for breakfast today. And I didn't even have breakfast. Do you eat breakfast?
I'm a intermittent faster.
Fair. That's respectable. I like that.
Like
Yeah,
works for me.
that's. I was gonna say hard work too. Sometimes depending on like your life habits, just jumping into it.
Well, yeah, when you're having a weekend with the missus, you gotta, comply. You can't be like, nope, sorry, honey, not eating until 3 o'clock.
Yeah, you're
Or,
eating alone. Yeah,
yeah,
you can't say that.
no, yeah. Most of the time, I would say I'm fasting. Then
All
it
right.
also makes meals more enjoyable. Like I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna
Yeah,
eat
I'm
this.
starving. Yeah, you start like drooling a little bit,
Yeah,
like Big Mom
yeah,
at the tea party. Yeah, Big Mom looking at her family.
yeah. Exactly. I'll eat somebody if I have to accidentally.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a good question then. If you were forced to, do you think you could eat somebody? Like not like oh you're gonna kill somebody and eat them. No, but like there's a lot of stories where people get stranded in the middle of nowhere. There's dead bodies around them because there's a tragic accident, and there have been a lot of instances where they've had to eat like their friends because they passed away and they have no other food source. Would you be able to do that to
Absolutely.
survive? No choice. Okay.
I'm not gonna kill them.
Yeah, of
Obviously,
course, of
we'll
course.
figure something out. But if they're dead, yeah, they're getting eaten. Because it's like, how bad do you want to live? You got to keep going.
You got
You
a
got to do it.
family.
I would want them to do it to me if it was vice versa.
Yeah.
Um, there's like there's stories about this, but one that I remember specifically was like some plane or something was stranded in the mountains or whatever. And what they wound up doing with the dead people were like making like beef jerky out of them essentially.
It
Like hanging
was
up the flesh and it became jerkified and that's how they were eating it.
Yes, so it was in 1972. That was the story I was thinking of, actually. 1972, it
Oh,
was a
okay.
rugby team. They got stranded on a mountain, but of course, like I said, it was a plane crash, so people tragically passed away, and that is when the rugby players ended up eating their teammates to survive. And
And
then I
they,
think they went to court for that for a little bit because, they had to justify, like, was it needed? But of course it was, so that I think they all got away, which is good, by the way. Like, they didn't have a choice, but yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, what,
Yeah.
would it be better if they starved to death? It's like, come on. I mean, the animals are going to eat us.
Oh yeah, like, and like, I like to think I could be like this hunting extraordinaire. Like, you throw me in the woods, I'm over here killing grizzly bears and eating their flesh. Well, you don't want to eat a bear actually, but we're killing animals and catching rabbits. But no, that doesn't really happen. So
What is it, trichinosis or something bears have or something?
yeah, they have like it's like a parasite that if you eat, like, bear meat actually is 95% inedible.
Yeah.
You don't want to try it. Like, even if you cook it, I believe bear meat is still like bad.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's some places in Japan where you can eat it, but they do some kind of special thing or something.
Yeah. I wouldn't even risk it, to be honest. It's like eating a pufferfish, right? Like, oh, they leave the poison sac in, you're gone. It's like, I'm
Yeah,
okay.
no.
I don't know. Like, even if it's like 99.99% chance that it's like fine, I don't want to try it, bro. It's all. I can live
Yeah,
without pufferfish and bear. I'm okay.
exactly. But here's one.
What's up?
So, what if you had the opportunity to eat human flesh? You're just at a dining place or whatever.
Yeah.
And this person, they want this to happen. Like, they were dying and they were like, I want people to eat me. And it gets cooked up real nice. Gordon Ramsay makes it. Would you eat it?
Yeah. I mean, Gordon Ramsay's my hero, dude. I love Gordon Ramsay.
Okay,
I've
all right,
watched
no,
all of his
just some
shows.
good. That's making it too easy. Then just some good chef makes it.
Just a good chef, probably not. Like, it's got to be Gordon Ramsay. Like, yeah, you already set the bar. Like, I love Gordon Ramsay, bro. Like, all of his shows are so good. Like Kitchen Nightmares, Hotel Hell,
Yeah, me too.
Hell's Kitchen. He has like I think it's like Food Stars as well. Next Level
Top
Chef.
Chef.
Like, oh man, I
Oh,
watch all of
Master
them.
Chef is his show.
Yeah,
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen in Vegas is one of my favorite restaurants. It's incredible.
it's so good. Yeah, the beef Wellington. It's costs an arm and a leg, but it's amazing. Which,
It's
speaking of
worth it. It's
amazing,
worth it.
out of all the God Knights on this island, minus Shamrock, I don't want to throw you an easy one here. Gunko, Somers, and Killingham. Who's your favorite? If you had to like pick one.
Oh, you removed Shamrock because
Yeah. It's
Um,
everybody goes for the Shanks clone, so
I like Summers. I think he's cool.
really.
I mean, we haven't really gotten too much into them yet, but Summers seems interesting. Especially because his devil fruit could be like the fear fruit.
Yeah. Like the nightmare fruit or just something that brings creatures to life. Yeah, no, I think Summers is awesome. I love the way he was introduced too, like just in his boxers, hanging out, like, like give me an
Yeah.
hour, like I'm still getting ready. Like I love that about him. I don't want to say he's like relatable per se, but like it's like the bare minimum. But I was like, oh, that's cool. I kind of like that. I like how quirky they are,
I mean, you got to make them quirky because we've already gotten enough of I'm a bad guy, I'm bad. It's like just make them quirky or something. Give them some kind of personality, especially since they are the end game Yonko commanders. So it's like make them interesting. Another interesting thing about Summers is that he has like medals, like
Yeah,
war
it's like
medals on him. And
decorated
the
officer,
others,
bro.
yeah, the others don't. Not even Shamrock has them.
Yeah, and then it kind of makes you wonder, like, how did he get those medals? Did he like participate in a war? Was it killing civilians, most number of slaves owned, number of slaves executed, like a number of people assaulted? Like, I don't know what those medals are for on a celestial dragon. Like, I feel like we need more lore about like what the God Knights do in their free time. Like, are they actively on the field, like fighting? Like what do you think they do in their day to day? Like, do you think they're actually fighting wars out there that we just don't know about?
That's the thing, is because technically we should have seen them a few times by now. Like when Kuma or the revolutionaries or whoever else attacked Mary Joie, technically they should have retaliated.
Yeah,
Because they're
it's silly that they
there.
didn't. Yeah, like imagine you're at home, right? You're at home, you have like gnomes. You have living gnomes in your front yard, and some crazy guys coming out here trying to kill your gnomes and kidnap them. And you're inside the house. Are you not going to go outside and like deal with them? And keep in mind, like you're like a 6'7" Adonis over here, you know, AK-47s. You know, you're strapped with like a samurai katana blade. Like, why wouldn't you go outside? Like that's what happened with the God Knights. Like, why didn't they do anything during the Reverie? And then also, when Kuma was there, right? Kuma was there. They had a Kainu step out and do something about him. And we know that Sommers and Killingham, they were at home. They were at the place where the Kainu came to stop Kuma because, you know, they're still getting ready. So it's like, wait a minute. Like, why are none of the God Knights mobilized? And then you could even bring this over to Marineford. You could bring this over to Impel Down, Eni's Lobby, like any major event in the world. Technically, the God Knights could have mobilized. And now that we know that they can teleport, it's like, wait, they could just go around the world in like 2 seconds. Like, it really makes you wonder, like, I don't know, like, do they just really love naps?
That just brings me back to, I don't know what they do other than just protect Emu.
Yeah, and
I
then
just
does
don't
Emu
know.
need protection?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, if I'm
Emu
Emu,
could
like,
just-
ooh.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I love Bleach, and I see that you're a Bleach enjoyer as well. But it's like what Genu Ryusei said, right? Like, I am the best defense, right? I am the defense mechanism in the world, or something like that.
Iconic line.
Yeah. Like, why aren't there more guards? Do you think I need a guard? Like, oh yeah, it's Emu. Come on.
And also, like, if Emu is Uabak, then like, why did Uabak need his what was his top 5 guys called? I forget.
I forgot what they're called, but yeah.
Yeah, why did he need them? He's so much more powerful than all of them. Like, vastly more powerful than all of them.
I think it's just to
get
save
it
time,
in anime.
maybe.
Anime wise, I understand, but like, yeah, the holy. I don't want to be cynical, but part of me is thinking like the Holy Knights are a relatively new concept that Oda came up with.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Because otherwise it's like they're just making the admirals do all of the things that the Holy Knights should have been doing.
Yeah, and, you know, people get upset when people say that as well, but, like, here's the thing. Oda's admitted many times that he's created factions just on a whim. Like, the Supernova, Oda came up with that literally when he got to Sabaody. Like, he did not, like,
That's
future
right,
sight
yeah.
this. Yeah, like, he literally says it in a log book, I believe is what it is, like the volume log books. He's like, yeah, I just cooked all these guys up. I just wanted to have fun, and I just drew all these guys up and had them in. Like, literally the arc of, so, I mean, that could be it. He also said the same thing with the warlords. Like, I didn't want to introduce so many warlords,
yeah.
but now there's a lot of warlords and the story's long. It's like, okay, so Oda's just doing whatever he thinks is really cool. So I do think the God Knights are the same way. And I actually think the same way with Sun God Nika as well. I think Oda had a concept or idea of Nika, but he never fully, like, realized it until Wano. That's when he was like, okay, like, I know what to do now. Like, I think he was, like, always 50, 60% there, but, you know, with Skypiea and everything, I think he had ideas for Nika. But when we got to Wano, that's when he was like, okay, like, I'm going to pull the plug. Like, or not pull the plug, but plug it in. Like, this Nika's a thing now, 100%.
For sure. I mean, I know 100% that he had the idea of, like, a sun warrior going
Yes.
against, like, a devil dragon.
And drums.
Like
drums.
Or yeah, that was always, like, his idea. Like, that's what the origin of the One Piece story was, because we talked about this in our last collab. Richie's dream that he has. He sees the lion with this shield going against the big
scary
dark
dragon.
So he clearly always had that in mind, but I guess he was just trying to figure out how to connect it
Yeah.
to the latter part of the story 20 years later.
And we talked about, like, the concepts of One Piece, right? Like, Romance Dawn Volume 1 and Volume 2 before the story started. And then Oda even had an idea where Luffy's this guy named Land, and it's him and his 10 knights versus a dragon. We had a Shanks looking guy who was commander of the knights as well. It's like, okay, like
That's right, yeah.
like Oda always had all these ideas of like the sun god, for example, but he never fully placed it in verse. He put hints here and there so that he could tackle it if he wanted to, but it was in Wano. It was in, I guess Holy Knights were also Wano too, because that's where Kainu first mentioned them. Like that's when he was like, okay, like this is what we're doing. It reminds me of the break that Oda took, right? He took a 4-week break because he said he wanted to do the final touches on the saga. Like he wanted to like conceptualize everything. I think that's when like the God Knights fully got fleshed out. I think that was the time. Same with like the Gorosei transformations even. And yeah, I love it when Oda kind of fires from the hip like this too. Because I mean, I think that's what I would do as an author, right? I think having everything planned out for all 1,000 chapters, that's impossible. But like, you know, just having the ability to just make new things on the fly, I think is a special thing. Because that means you can adapt with like the modern times, right? Like you see what's around you and you're like, oh, like I like this idea. Let's do it.
I agree 100%. I like it if you have the beginning, middle, and end planned out. Just so like if you have a concrete ending in mind, I think that's really important because you don't want to come up with the ending at the end. That's how we see a lot of things fall apart, like freaking Game of Thrones. But
Demon Slayer.
Yeah, and you just fill it in between. You know, going with the times, going with the audience reception as well. Because going back to what you were saying about how he came up with the supernovas on the fly, didn't he originally want Kid to be prominent? But then it was like, no, people like Law more, so he went with him. Something like that.
That hurts my soul. Yeah, I hate thinking about that. I love Kid. I like Kid a lot. Use this Captain Kid. Sorry, the D's not there yet. But yeah, I always thought Kid was so cool. Like same with Law. Like I thought they were just both right there with Luffy. And then seeing Oda come out and saying, yeah, like I actually wanted to have Kid be really prominent, but Law was just so popular. I had to put him in. And then Law got like, you know, the Dressrosa treatment, the Punk Hazard treatment. I'm like, man, we could have got this for Kid, bro. Like, but yeah, again, like you said, it shows that Oda is willing to change the story based on like what's around him or just what's popular even. Which, damn. Rest in peace, Kid, man. Do you think Kid's going to come back here in Elbaf?
I mean, it's possible, but just I always think like, man, time doesn't move fast enough for just anyone to come. Even though sometimes it is like that, but it's like Kid just got beat by Shanks. What, 2 days before what's currently going on in the story? Maybe even like, less than that.
I think like 3 or 4. Because Kid got defeated while we were on Egghead. Egghead was a whole day and a half. And then the trip from Egghead to Elbaf was 3 days. So about 4-ish days, I would say, is when Kid got beaten.
So it's like somewhere he has to recover from death, essentially. Which he's not dead, but he was close to it. And then he has to come to Elbaf. Yeah, I don't think he is. I don't really think anyone else really is coming to Elbaf.
You think we got
but
the
then
cast
again,
right
if
here?
you
I was about to say, you think we have like the full cast of characters right here?
I mean, it always seems that way until like the last couple chapters, and then giants start showing up on Egghead. So you know, it's possible, I suppose.
Here's a question too. Yeah. But do you think the God Knights are going to succeed in their plan of kidnapping the kids, or do you think they will suffer a loss here? Will the Straw Hats win, or will the God Knights win? In terms of their plan.
I mean, they kind of have to get some kids or something. There can't just. I think this arc has to end in like tragedy in some extent, or you know, Ragnarok. Obviously, that has to happen. Whatever that means in the One Piece world, that has to happen. It could mean the literal destruction of Elbaf. Like the entire Atom Tree comes down and everything's destroyed, possibly. Maybe not necessarily because of Loki or Luffy, but maybe something that they indirectly cause, maybe. I just feel like this is the catalyst for the beginning of the final war, right? So whether the kids get stolen or something like that, something bad is going to happen. Like one of these arcs has to end with like tragedy, because so far the Straw Hats just have kind of been winning every time, or making it out okay. I mean, like they lose I mean, they lost Vegapunk, but he's
He's
still kind of
alive.
alive, right?
Yeah, literally, Vegapunk is on this island in the form of Lilith. I mean, we got like the Megapunk still up there, and who's to
And
say
then
they don't just create a new Vegapunk?
that container
The brain, yeah.
that they brought with them.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah, like Vegapunk's second body, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like what is that's coming back for sure. So
And then Kuma's
yeah,
technically coming back too because Lilith was like, yeah, I'll boot him up again. So it's like, yeah, we really just got a big W on Egghead. We only lost the Mother Flame in York, but no, I agree. When it comes to the God Knights here in Elbaf, the way I see it too is that, so first off, we don't know if Shamrock is still here if he left yet, right? Yeah, that's like still a mystery. But the thing is that if the God Knights ever get pressed, like let's say the Straw Hats are about to win, you know, Luffy's about to beat everybody, Zora's about to beat everybody, Sanji, all them, the kids are about to be freed. The God Knights could legitimately just summon the rest of the boys. If Shamrock isn't here, they could just re-summon him. Like, the way we saw Gunko pull Killingham and Sommers against their will, because, like, they weren't ready. Like, they didn't know where to go. They weren't ready to teleport. But Gunko brought him over here. So who's to say Gunko can't just do that with all the God Knights? Like, oh, we're about to lose? All right, you know, summoning Jutsu, and then all of a sudden, everybody's there. Like, that's the thing with the God Knights losing. Like, I just can't see that happening because they have, like, an ace in the hole where the whole crew shows up. And then it makes you wonder, like, okay, so if that happens, do the God Knights all lose here? It kind of feels early in a weird way. But I mean, we felt the same way with the Gorosei, and we kind of, I wouldn't say we beat the Gorosei, but we performed really well. Like, if they didn't regenerate, I mean, some of them would have been kind of hurt. I mean, I'm just going to say it how it is. Like, regeneration is like the name of the game with them, but it's not like, it's gimmicky, right? Regeneration.
yeah.
Like, you don't, like, if I had infinite regeneration on me, I could fight a lot of people and I'd win eventually. Like, that's the thing. Like, am I strong though? No, I'm not strong, but I have regeneration. You can't kill me. It's like, okay. That's kind of how I view the Gorosei. And I mean, if the God Knights have that too, I mean, they're kind of set up for success.
Yeah, I wonder. Do the God Knights have that? Would just be too busted. I just want the
So
Gorosei
busted.
to have regeneration. Just
Unless there's like a
guys.
way around it.
Well, there has to be. There's going to be something. Because how else could Zoro defeat Venus? You know, there has to be some kind of workaround to it. You know, some kind of hockey adjacent thing.
Do you think Scopper knows how to do it? Because he was at God Valley. Like, Scopper is somewhere on the island. He's probably going to go to the God Knights. Do you think he knows a way around that?
Good question. I don't think anyone knows.
So you think
you're
it's like
talking about
mystery?
how to get around regeneration.
Yeah, like how to permanently damage somebody.
Okay, let me take that back. I don't think there has to be somebody that knows, right? Because how else are they going to figure out how to there has to be somebody that knows what the abyss is, what Emu is doing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they don't know how to stop it. And you know, either they learn it through a poneglyph or some kind of other thing like that. Like maybe Robin figures it out, but I don't know if it's Scopper.
Yeah.
Because then Rayleigh would know too. I could totally see that. Oh yeah, I knew the whole time. I just, you know, I didn't want to tell you guys.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could see Rayleigh and Scopper being the prime candidates just because of their age and what they've seen. Outside of that, I mean, I guess Shanks is another prime candidate because, you know, that's like his family. Like, if my dad beats my ass, I would like to imagine why my dad beat my, like, you know, how he did it, right? My dad trained a lot of biceps today. He just smacked me really hard. You know, something like that. So maybe Shanks knows about it. Maybe even Buggy, since he was a part of Roger's crew. But Buggy's a weird one because, like, he's Buggy.
Yeah, Buggy knew many things for many years, and he never said anything. So
yeah, he knew about Odin. He knew about Wano. Zoe. Yeah, Buggy's a wealth of information that just keeps on giving, bro. Like he's just that guy.
He's just like a low IQ guy that like you need to ask him questions in order to learn anything. Like he's just not going to say anything. He's going to be preoccupied with things that don't matter.
Oh yeah. Which now begs the question, if you could get any chapter you want next week, what would you want? stay here in Elbaf, go to a different person? What would you want to happen ideally? That's a tough one, huh? It's like
it's
a
tough
golden
one because
ticket.
it's like I could have anything I want. I would like Emu's reveal. I want to see what Emu looks like.
Okay. So that is what you, if you had a golden ticket to anything in One Piece happening, golden ticket, Emu reveal.
Well, I mean, if we're going by like next week, like I don't want to know what One Piece is. I don't want to know all the secrets immediately.
Yeah.
But if I could just have one thing like that, and it's just the next chapter, I would like for us to see what Emu looks like. I think that would be super exciting and definitely viral for sure, like trending everywhere once Emu is revealed.
Yeah, I could see that. And the thing is, I don't think getting an Emu chapter would be too crazy because, like, we have the God Knights here, of course. Shamrock's being summoned back. We don't know why. A lot of things are happening in the world with the food shortage as well. So yeah, Emu reveal I think could actually happen. It's not 0%. For me, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I kind of want to see what's going on with This might be a waste of a golden ticket. I want to see what happens with like Sengoku and Sudo. Like, where are they going? Because they talked about two things. They talked about Cross Guild and they talked about Blackbeard and Garp, of course. So it's like, are they going to Cross Guild or are they going to rescue their friend Garp? Oda definitely left it 50-50. So I would love to see what happens there because I think they're going to be a really interesting like dynamic, right? We've never seen Sengoku fight outside of Marineford, and when he did fight, he performed really well against Blackbeard. Like, he drew blood, he like shot him with this weird pressurized palm. Sudo, I don't really know what Sudo does. She has a clean fruit. She's over here like cleaning the souls of bad guys. I don't know what that's all about. But I mean, Sudo was such a menace back in the day that every time Doflamingo saw her, he had to run, dude. Which is a crazy thing to see. Like, imagine Doflamingo running from somebody, and it's like Sudo. It's like, I know Sudo's not in her prime anymore, but like, I want to see what Doflamingo is scared of, man.
Doesn't want his soul to get washed.
He doesn't
likes
want to get
being evil.
washed.
What was the last time we saw them? When you said where they're going, when was that?
So we saw it all sprinkled throughout Egghead. I think the last time we saw them was during the Vegapunk message. We saw both of them listening in, and then we just saw their ship sailing. But prior to that was the T-Bone chapter, where they were talking about how big of a threat Cross Guild was and that something has to be done about them. And then we ended off that segment with, I think it was, I might be getting this, it's either Hina or some other Marine who was like, yeah, like, by the way, Garp went to Hachinosu. And they're like, what? And then we don't see him for like 20, 30 chapters. And then we see the Vegapunk thing and they're like on a ship going somewhere. So it's like, yeah, like, where are they? Like what caught their attention more? Did they say, oh, Garp's captured, we got to go? Or are they just executing the Cross Guild plan, whatever that may be? Which I think both are just really fun things to play with, right? Like Sengoku versus Buggy, Mihawk, and Crocodile. Oh yeah, and Sudo's there too. Sorry, I forgot Sudo. Or we could get like, you know, Sengoku and Sudo rescuing their comrade Garp. Like, I think both scenarios would be really hype, but I also think in both scenarios they lose. Like, obviously Mihawk and Cross Guild aren't gonna fall this early, and then of course Blackbeard's not gonna die to Sengoku and Sudo. So I think they're set up for failure no matter what happens, but I think the setup and like the matchup and like the fight, I think it'll be phenomenal though. So that's kind of like why I'm like looking forward to them, because like they're just like unknown.
Yeah.
And I'm a meathead dude, you know. I like Dragon Ball, I like Bleach, One Piece when it kicks off too. Like, I love fight scenes, bro. Like, give me a Sengoku Sudo fight.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Yeah, and then and we're looking at Loki. We're like, Loki, please kick some ass. You know what I mean? That's just how it is.
Going back to Loki, I hope he does. I hope he beats someone.
But
like,
who?
I like Zoro. Everybody loves Zoro. Oh, Zoro can't lose. Sorry. I hope he beats Luffy.
See, I think that's Luffy so tough.
Can take an L right now, and it's okay. Because I know he hasn't lost in a very long... Since Gear 5, he's undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, Luffy just doesn't lose. But the thing is, I love Luffy losing because that means he's going to get stronger, right? like Luffy losing against Kaido is probably the best thing in Wano, because guess what? That's how he got Ryuo in Udon Prison, and then later on, that's how he got Gear 5th, like by losing. By losing, you get stronger. Same with Zoro, right? Zoro technically didn't lose. Well, Zoro has lost a couple of times, actually, but he's, like I said, he's always gotten stronger. Characters get stronger and stronger when they lose, as long as they don't lose that hope and that will. So I would like to see Luffy losing. It's just hard to imagine because, like, Zoro and Sanji are right there. So it's not, I don't think it's going to be like a 1v1. It's like, it would be a 3v1. And do we lose a 3v1 with the boys?
That's why it's tough. You have, like, you know, 3 of the strongest pirates in the world right there. Loki shouldn't be that powerful because he's just been sitting there for 6 years.
And
he still has a sea stone cuff on his ankle, which he could just smash. I hope he does that and then just smashes it.
I don't think he can. We've never seen Sea Stone actually being broken before.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It's like unbreakable, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I think what they said is that it's as tough as diamonds, which you know, it's a crazy statement, but like, yeah, like we haven't seen anybody cut it.
Like smash the mechanism that shuts
like smash the tree, right? Like, yeah,
or that. But I just want him to get that thing off of him, and then I just don't want Loki to lose. I want him to beat a significant character and be like, oh wow, he's that powerful. I mean, I know, you know, it's implied he was a Yonko back in the day or whatever, but he needs to beat somebody of substance, like one of, you know, the monster trio. Yeah, actually, Sanji's not even good enough. He needs to defeat Zoro or Luffy.
Or a God Knight. Like, I don't know. Put the fear of God in a God Knight even. I think that'd be okay. But like, if Loki just beats Hardin, that's like, okay, we expected that. I mean, Hardin's kind of like a third of his size. He's not that great, but yeah, I agree. I think Loki needs to look good. But also, like, it's hard to imagine the Straw Hats losing here. That's why I'm kind of thinking that maybe somebody disperses the fight. Like, Mosa comes in, or somebody comes in and they're like, hey, Luffy, Loki, let's save this for later. Like, maybe we get something like that.
Man, that character has like 3 names.
Mosa,
Mosaka, Shaggy. Where did Viz come up with that?
Dude, Viz is coming up. So I don't know if you saw, but like the principal in Walrus Academy, in Japanese his name is Kiba, but Viz decided to just call him Tusk, which, to be fair, Kiba does translate to Tusk, but you know that when we get to that segment in Elbaf, they're just going to call him Kiba. And then you have like the Viz calling him Tusk, and it's going to create this weird dissonance unless the anime decides to call him Tusk as well, but I don't think they will. Because I mean, we've had a lot of Japanese names in One Piece. That's like taking Kaido and translating that, right? That's like taking Yamato and Americanizing it. It's like, huh? Like, are we? Is that what we're gonna do? Like, kind of like 4Kids stuff? I'm not sure. But either way, Viz always has the most interesting translations, and a good handful of times they're wrong. They have to correct it later, and that's fine. Like Zoro Zolo, that's like the most prominent one, but that's like years ago. But like Mother Frame, Mother Flame.
Aren't they still calling him Zolo?
Are they? I don't read the Viz like that anymore. Like, I only go to the Viz when I want like another source for something. But I typically just read like, I put more faith in like, so I read like 4 different translations, and the 5th one is usually just the Viz. Like, I like to cross-reference a lot, but I know the Viz has like this weird thing where like sometimes they're really accurate, but sometimes they're not. So it's like, I'd rather just like read my other sources. Like actual like Japanese translators, and well, I mean, they are Japanese translators, but you know, like I trust them
like
a little bit more.
Japanese people.
Yeah, and they give like the nuance as to why things are translated a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I think you know, having a lot of sources is always a good thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with Japanese to English. Oh man, so many issues across so many series over the years with that stuff.
Oh, and another thing about the Viz is that there's so many different, like, obviously Viz isn't only in English, so there's like a French version, Spanish version, etc. And like for the Shaggy thing, right? Viz English was the only one that did Shaggy. French, you know, Spanish, Italian, German, they all went with Mosa. So it's like Viz English is like the only like rogue agent there. So it's like, wait a minute. Like, it's
here's
funny.
here's a weird little theory about that. I didn't bring it up in our last or the collab we just did a little bit ago, but
Yeah.
the guy Luna PN Art, the guy who is also Dawn and Dusk.
Yeah, shout out to Dawn and Dusk.
He has a theory that Mosa is the other personality of Gunko.
Oh,
He takes a little bit of leaps to get to this, but it's that Gunko was there when Loki killed Harold and left a transponder snail behind or something. And when Emu isn't like brainwashing Gunko and having the Gunko personality come over, Mosa comes over, who is maybe the revolutionary member, and that when she's in that state, she talks to Loki because she is also like imprisoned.
Yeah.
So like when she's imprisoned and not in Gunko mode, she's talking to Loki. Because also like she says something, or Mosa says something like not so loud, like when Loki starts getting loud. And then, you know, Loki's never seen her, and it's like, or them, and I don't know. Again, a lot of leaps. Just thought it was interesting.
Yeah. I'm not fully on board with the Gunko personality swap yet, but I mean, if that is the case, that could be it. I think one damning thing with Mosa is what Loki says. A couple of things, right? He said, if I was there, I would have leveled the room or leveled the field. So if Gunko is Mosa, or so in my opinion, whoever Mosa is, they weren't there when Loki killed King Harold. Because why would Loki say if I were there? Another thing with Mosa is that Loki says, oh, you must be really bored. And, you know, that kind of implies that wherever Mosa's at, they can't do anything. They're just stuck somewhere. So that's why I don't think it's Gunko, because Gunko's like actively like moving around, doing things. I mean, well, of course, we don't know where the God Knights are at like half the time, so maybe that's like, you're bored. But my theory right now is that Mosa was in the tower that Luffy, Scopper, and Zoro destroyed. Because we saw a tower just fall off the building randomly, and I think Mosa might have been trapped up there. And another thing with Mosa too is that in Japanese it's more pronounced. I don't think in English Viz they said it. But Mosa Ko is what they call them. The Ko is actually some sort of honorific meant for nobility or duke. So that is why I think they're in the castle, and that maybe like they fell off with the castle tower that was destroyed during the fight. And that's another reason why I don't think it might be Gunko, because like duke is such a specific title. But
okay,
yeah,
I wasn't aware of the. I know it's Masaka or Masako in Japanese. Okay, but the tower you were talking about falling off, that was from Scopper's attack, right?
Yeah, Scopper used his Yaso Takeru, and then the tower got destroyed. They weren't in that room. They were like in the basement of the throne room, but a tower up top got destroyed. And it's like, okay, like that was interesting because Oda, he like focused on it for like 3 panels, and I was like, what the hell is going on? I
thought that was interesting. I was like, are you just showing us that he's that powerful, or why are you showing us that specifically? I was confused.
So yeah, I think there's something up with that. I mean, it could also be like an old kung fu movie where, you know, like, oh, the water drops, it hits the floor, and then now we're fighting. Like, because that happened. Like the tower fell, and that's when Luffy and Zoro went Gear 5th, and they were like rushing in. So it's like maybe that's the gag, but it you know, obviously it doesn't like coincide with the manga too well. We need the anime for that.
Yeah, like directions for the anime. Yeah.
Like you know what I'm talking about, right? Like you know, a tree's falling and now we're just rushing in.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Everywhere, bro. It's everywhere. But yeah, with that being said though, Zhoniin, thank you for your time, man, and thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. Appreciate y'all. You guys know where to find Zhoniin. He will be linked down below as per usual. He makes video content on One Punch Man as well as One Piece. He does all the spoiler stuff as well. You know, people are like, Sai, why don't you just talk about the spoilers? And I always say, guys, if you want just the spoilers, go to Zhoniin. He's the best when it comes to just breaking those down and going at it. So yeah, visit him. He'd be linked down. He is very true. His only hiccup is that he cannot pronounce Jormungandr. I was there for that video. He absolutely butchered that.
Jormungandr.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, brother. I heard that and I was so like I said, I listen to videos in the shower. Like I'm one of those guys. I need white noise, and I was just showering, over here scrubbing my head, and I heard you pronounce Jormungandr, and I was like, I mean, I'm pronouncing it wrong too, but I'm at least a little bit close. But Zhoniin's pronunciation, oh god, you guys got to see that one. But catch you guys later.
Let me know.
Yeah, let him know, and have a great day, guys. Peace out.